All right, guys, this hashtag is about Lion of Allah, Lion of Damascus. We're going to look at some of the prophecies in Jeremiah chapter 4 regarding Israel, who the Lion of Allah, or the lion in verse 5, I believe, comes against. I'm sorry, verse 7. So check this out. If thou wilt return, O Israel, saith the Lord, return unto me, and if thou wilt put away thine abominations out of my sight, then shalt thou not be removed, is what it should say. And thou shalt swear, the Lord liveth in truth, in judgment, and in righteousness. And the nations shall bless themselves in him, and in him shall they glory. For thus saith the Lord, or the Father, to the men of Judah and Jerusalem, break up your fallow ground, and sow not among thorns. Why, that reminds me of the parable of the sower, and talking about the word in the apostolic writings. Circumcise yourselves to the Lord, and take away, wait for it, the foreskins of your heart, ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Lest my fury come forth like fire, and burn, that none can quench it, because of the evil of your doings, or the wickedness of your doings. They put darkness for light, and good for evil, or evil for good, and bitter for sweet. And of course, tip the balance of the scales, and don't show justice to the needy. Look at this destruction here, right there, to the north. That's a picture of Homs, Syria. I've been warning you for almost 22 years about the Assyrian coming from the north, the Lion of Allah, that son of perdition, years before he was even elected into office. And soon he's going to pour across the northern border. The Father says, through the prophet, declare in Judah and publish in Jerusalem, and say, blow the trumpet in the land. To those of you that are blowing a shofar, but your lips are sealed concerning what you have witnessed many, many years in advance, it's going to come back to bite you in the butt, I promise. It is not advisable. Sound the shofar that is your mouth, and lift up a warning to all of the people whom the Father has entrusted you to teach and speak and to share in front of. Gather together and say, assemble yourselves, and let us go into the defenced cities. This is warfare terminology. Set up the standard toward Zion. Retire, stay not, for I will bring, the Father is doing this. If his hand is stretched out, who will turn it back? For I will bring evil from the north. See the evil? See the destruction, the malfeasance, the murder? And just today, as I'm typing this, Israel agrees that it's in, get this, their best interest if Assad stay in power. They are willing to make a covenant with death and destruction, while their own mouth professes that he's a murderer, for their own shalva in Hebrew. Not shalom, shalva, security. It is fear-based capitulation to tyranny, and it is wickedness. Set up the standard toward Zion, retire, stay not, for I will bring evil from the north, a great destruction. The Father is bringing a son of the left hand, even the son of destruction. Al-Assad, or the lion, is come up from his thicket. Now, before Jeremiah ever talks, Isaiah established that the Assyrian, in Isaiah chapter 14, the king of Babel, the gate or door to God, would destroy his own land first and his own people, and be denied proper burial, a kingly, stately grave because of this. Look at this. The lion, that's Arabic Al-Assad, if it was in Arabic. The lion is come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the nations, or Gentiles, or Goy, is on his way. He has gone forth from his place. Why has he gone forth from his place? Well, because he's destroyed it. This is what happens after, and even right alongside, Damascus being destroyed in Isaiah 17:1. He leaves his place to make thy land, that is Israel, desolate, and thy cities shall be laid waste without inhabitant. Folks, it comes out of their own mouth. Hassan Nasrallah of Hezbollah, Syria, Assad, Iran, Iraq, all of them, of course, talking about destroying Tel Aviv and Haifa in the north. Folks, the prophets have penned this in stunning detail. You are seeing the beginning of it, and you will see much worse things in the very near future. I personally will not be silent for the cause of Zion. For this gird you with sackcloth, lament and howl. For fierce anger of the Lord is not of the Father. The Lord is not turned back from us. He is indeed the Father of lights, and in him there is no darkness. It shall come to pass at that day, saith the Lord, that the heart of the king shall perish, the heart of the princes and the priests, those who now all of a sudden can't tell the difference between light and darkness, bitter and sweet, evil and good, clean and unclean, they shall be astonished. And the prophets, even those peripheral visionaries that see just a little bit into the future but way off to the side, shall wonder. Indeed, presently they wander. They wander away from the messages and the gospel and the truth in the prophets, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in the apostolic writings, in the Torah, in the Apocrypha, all which warn about this coming disaster. And they do so for filthy lucre and ill-gotten gain. It comes with consequences. Now, he brings disaster from the north. The word north is a Hebrew metonym from an earlier word, sapin. It's a reference to the location in Syria, Latakia Governorate, or the Latakia district in Syria. I guess there's a mountain there, Jebel al-Akra. And a good friend of ours, Bradley, found out that little nugget. Literally, it's where Assad came from. So when he's called the king of the north, Zaphon in Hebrew, it is referencing the Latakia district. He specifically was from Kardaha, Latakia. And folks, we're about to pay the piper for ignoring this information. We will all see this ramifications of this war as we sit vainly and watch it at a distance on our devices, thinking it won't come nigh our dwelling. That is egregious error. In fact, it will, and is about to very, very soon, as the broad stroke of the rod of chastisement reaches all over, even up to the midst of the neck, eventually to Jerusalem, but worldwide, if you will. So we need to prepare our hearts and minds to live in a manner that is pleasing to our Heavenly Father.